So very recently, the fine folks over at Marshall Amplification released their new JTM Studio, part of their mini studio series. In that series, they have miniature and lower wattage Silver Jubilee, a Plexi, a JCM 800. Now they've added an updated, shrunken version of the first amp, or at least as I understand it, the first amp Marshall ever made, the JTM45. This has long been an amp I've wanted in my collection, and now I do, right up here off camera. And on the other camera angle, you'll probably see it. I do have one of these JTM Studios, and I gotta say, it doesn't disappoint. It sounds absolutely killer. But that did remind me that I wanted to go and revisit the amazing J45 amp model that we have in the Helix. And I gotta say, this is one of my favorite amplifiers for that kind of vintage rock style tone. It's not a super high gain amp. It wasn't really meant to be, but it does give you that classic vintage rock tone, and it does it very, very well. So today I'm going to have a free preset for you below from my website. And this is going to be very, very similar to one of the snapshots from my multi-snapshot preset from the Line 6 Marketplace, the J45 Ultimate Preset. I'll have a link to that below. Later in the video, I'll play you a demo video of how all the various snapshots from that preset actually work together in an actual audio production in a mix with drums and bass and layered together. But today I'm going to show you how this particular free preset sounds. Go grab it, give it a listen if you like it, or if you are so inclined, want to go over to Line 6 Marketplace and grab a copy of the full-blown Ultimate Preset, which is also part of my Ultimate Bundles if you want to get a whole bunch of really great presets at a discount. You can do that also, and those links will all be below. So without further ado, let's go take a look and see how I dialed in and see how this preset sounds using the incredible J45 Nrm amp model we have in the Helix. All right, so here we are over in HXEdit, and what we have here, the Brit J45 Nrm. We'll come back to the amp model in a second. Starting at the end of the chain, I have my normal LA Studio comp that I like to put in there, add a little bit of glue to the overall sound. Peak reduction at 4, gain at 5. And again, when you play this, it's just going to be giving a very subtle amount of compression. This is not anything to be used in an overt way. It's just more as a bit of glue to the overall sound. I also do have my parametric EQ. I'm actually using it here. High frequencies at 3 kilohertz with a Q of 1.4. I've pulled back minus 3 dB, just something I liked the sound of in this particular scenario. Low cut at 100 hertz, high cut at 12 kilohertz. I have my dynamic ambience on, room size at 12 meters, pre-delay at 10 milliseconds, shape is late 100, and mix is at 35%. I really do like the way that dynamic ambience just adds a not overly overt reverb to the sound. Just gives it more of a sound like it sounds as if we're playing in a nice room, which is what it's designed to do. Low and high shelf EQ, both high and low frequencies set to 650 hertz, much like I oftentimes use it. All the low frequencies pulled back by 1.5 dB. The high frequencies boosted by 4 dB. So it's kind of interesting. I kind of used this to boost all those frequencies up, and then I just targeted that 3 kilohertz frequency to bring it back down. So a lot of times I'll use complementary EQs like this to kind of balance things off in just the way that I want. As far as the cab goes, 412 Greenback 25 from the new cabs we received with firmware 3.50. One of my favorite mics, the 121 ribbon, position 1.0, distance 1 inch back. Low cutoff, high cutoff, because I've already done that over here in the parametric section. So very cool. I like that setup. This cabinet is really killer sounding. And then onto the amp, I have the drive at 6.2. Now keep in mind, this is the Nrm version of that amp. We do have the bright version, so it's the normal channel of this amp. The normal channel is going to be much darker, but I kind of found it gave that vintage gooey vibe that I was looking for, and I was really enjoying it. So drive at 6.2, bass at 6.5, mid and treb both at 10, presence at 8.7, channel volume at 8.5, master is at 9, and the deeper function, seg, hum, ripple, bias, X I did not touch. So let's do this. Just going to come in here, turn off all of the other blocks except for the amp and cab. And let's take a listen and hear what this amp sounds like. I'm playing my Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s. As you can tell, and as would be expected, it is kind of woolly and almost muffled sounding, and that has a lot to do with the fact I've got a 121 ribbon mic 1 inch back. You know, if I pulled this mic back, it takes care of some of that, but I was getting something I kind of liked here. And And I figured I would just use some EQ to kind of mess around with that. So if I bring in the compressor, and I'm getting maybe a dB of compression here. A lot of folks may not even notice much of a difference, but you get a bit of a feel difference. And I just like what it does. Okay, we'll bring our parametric EQ in with our high and low cuts and this little high frequency adjustment. Actually, it turns out to be more of an upper mid frequency adjustment. Going to bring my dynamic ambience in. It's going to probably do what it's supposed to do. That's it. Gives it a bit of a room sound. Now, I'm still not really digging that tone, but when I bring in the low and high shelf, where I pull out some of the mud in the bottom and add some sparkle on top, it's really going to bring this to life. So again, before that low and high shelf and after. Even on the neck pickup, really nice. Kind of reminds me of maybe a Mark Knopfler Les Paul tone. Middle position. Back to the bridge. All right, so there you have the finished free preset. As I mentioned, that is available at the link below. Now, that is extremely similar to Snapshot 2, or the push snapshot of my full-blown Line 6 Marketplace J45 Ultimate Preset, which is also available at the link below. I'd like to let you hear now what the tones from those various snapshots sound like when used together completely unprocessed in the mix, and that's what this sounds like. All right, what did you guys think? I hope you enjoyed that. So again, there's a link below to the free preset from my website. You can go grab that. And if you're so inclined from the Line 6 Marketplace, you can grab a copy of my J45 Ultimate Preset, which I enjoy very much. Give you some really cool vintage vibe tones, and I really hope you enjoy that. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for sharing your time with me. Ciao for now.